There is some positive news for millions of us across the UK because the government's reduction of national insurance takes effect from today.
But just how positive is it really? Announced in the Chancellor's autumn statement, the pre-election cut to national insurance from 12% to 10%, on the face of it, will impact around 27 million payroll employees across the UK.
Well, this is what the Chancellor had to say.
Today is a very significant day because having turned the corner on inflation, brought it right down, the economy is doing much better, and that means we can start to bring down taxes. Today's cut in national insurance by 2% means that a typical family with 2 earners will be nearly £1,000 better off this year. That is really important in a cost of living crisis where people have been feeling real pressure on family budgets. But also it rewards work. It'll bring more people into the labour force, and that is good for growing the economy.
Jeremy Hunt speaking there, but some critics have questioned whether the timing of the tax cuts with an election on the horizon is just a bid to woo voters.
Well, our reporter Will Hollis looks at how this all might affect us.
Down to the nuts and bolts. At Alan Kent's Motors, a garage in Ilkeston, Derbyshire, the diary is full. Today's date stands out in any worker's calendar. The government's lowering national insurance, less tax on your earnings. Lewis, a mechanic, welcomes the new direction.
Well, I've got 2 young kids as well, so it'll go towards obviously feeding them, clothing them, so straight away that'll help with that.
Alan Kent Motors.
He's not alone. Chloe, who manages the garage, is looking forward to the extra cash.
With national insurance changing, it'll make us financially stable now. Obviously, we can have more luxuries in life rather than having to worry about all the bills coming out.
Most workers pay national insurance. It's one of the biggest taxes deducted from your pay automatically by your boss. It's dropping from 12 to 10% of earnings, benefiting 27 million people. For the average earner on a salary of around £35,000, the saving on national insurance is about £450 in a year, £37 in a month.
We take decisions for the long term.
The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, announced the cut as part of the autumn statement. The timing of the tax cut hasn't gone unnoticed. A general election only months away.
They want the votes again, don't they?
It's good for the country as a whole.
They should have done it a long time ago.
But the savings might not be all they seem.
Yes, some tax cuts today, but in a bigger picture where taxes are going up.
Taxation is at the highest level since the end of the Second World War. Helen is Deputy Director at the Institute for Fiscal Studies.
Roughly those people earning over about £30,000, then this year alone there will be overall tax cuts, but it's part of a much broader trend where the government is freezing thresholds in the personal tax system, which is a really chunky tax increase. By 27-28, then the average earner on £35,000 will be paying about £450 more in tax.
Back at the garage, this motor's almost ready for the road. Fixing cars, fixing the country. Neither job can be rushed. Will Hollis, GB News in Ilkeston.
You see, even for those people on, what did you say, average of 35,000 and it's £450, was it £450 a year? I think it was. It's not a lot of money. It's not a huge...
In the grand scheme of things, not when you look at how much everything costs now.
£37 a month or whatever it is, it's not going to make a huge difference. And look, it's better than nothing. It's better than a kick in the teeth, but it's not going to be life-changing, is it?
But also, when I said earlier, you know, how positive is it? Because income tax thresholds are frozen.
Mm.
So you've got people dragged into the higher tax brackets. So overall, I'm not exactly sure how better off people are going to be and actually whether it's going to ease the pressure on people.
Yeah, but nothing's going to change that, is it? That's the problem, because the Labour Party, Keir Starmer said only yesterday or the day before, no tax cuts if there's a Labour government for about 2 years. So nothing's going to change under Labour.
Jeremy Hunt's saying he doesn't know if he can do more tax cuts after this national insurance.
But we have got a spring budget. We have got a spring budget in April.
March.
Is it March?
I think it's March, yeah.
Oh, yeah, March the 6th.
Because it was the announcement of
March
that
the
made
6th.
people think, oh, there's going to be an election in May.
There will be an election in May.
Are you convinced? See, the Prime Minister had... It was a very careful choice of words.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the working assumption.
Well, you
Read
can't,
what you like into that.
You can't have a working... It's his decision. There isn't a working assumption. I think he's trying to put Labour on the back foot and make them think, oh, we've got another 6-7 months to play with before we need to start publishing a manifesto. So I think... I could be proved very, very wrong, but I think May the...
if you're right, I'll pay you another £2.60 to add to your lottery winnings.
I want more than that. Love me neck. But anyway, we shall see. But I wouldn't bet your bottom dollar that we're not going to have one before summer.